Welcome to the World of Choices Service Excellence event here today. So, we would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people, where our relationship is based in peace and friendship. We also acknowledge that people of African descent have been in Nova Scotia for over 400 years, and we honor those ancestors who came before us to this land. So our next speaker that we have is, we're shifting a bit of gears here to the Canadian Coast Guard. Brent Coutinho is a ship cook, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the Canadian Coast Guard. It's a special operating agency within Fisheries and Oceans Canada, and it works to ensure the safety of mariners in Canadian waters and protect Canada's marine environment. It also supports Canada's economic growth through the safe and efficient movement of maritime trade. There are 4 classes of vessels in the Canadian Coast Guard fleet: icebreakers, multi-purpose vessels, science and research vessels, and search and rescue lifeboats. In the Atlantic region alone, the Coast Guard employs 1,300 seagoing personnel. Shannon and Brent, take it away.
Hey, Brent, how are you?
No, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you for joining us today. I see you're joining us from the road, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm at my daughter's track and field meet here. So, yeah.
That's that work-life balance bit, hey. So, Brent, what brought you into the trade of cook?
So I got into cooking out of high school. I've been cooking for about 20 years. And I think what drew me there is when I got out of high school, I didn't quite understand what I wanted to do. And so I figured if I went into cooking and I decided I wanted to do something later in life, at least cooking would be a skill that I'd have for the rest of my life, and it's going to be something I'm going to use till forever, right? So, and if I decided to do something different, then at least I know how to cook a little bit better. That's kind of the idea of why I went in, and then I just stuck with it for the last. I've been in cooking industry for the last 20 years, so yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you're with the Coast Guard now. Can you tell us a bit about the journey that got you to where you are?
Yep. So I did the cooking program at the King's Tech NSCC program in 2004, 2005. I cooked in restaurants for 10 years. Started in the Valley at the King's Arms Pub in Tempest and Wolffold, and I moved to Halifax. And then was cooking in a bunch of restaurants in Halifax, and became the chef of Cut Steakhouse for a number of years. And then I started a family, and the workload was getting to be a little much to balance the family life. So then I looked at the Coast Guard and saw that, they had a better schedule. It's time on, time off. So I go to work for 2 weeks on, I'm off for 2 weeks so at a time. So it was a little bit easier of a life to juggle with family. But yeah, to get there, I had to do my MEDs, which are now the NSCC offers it now with the cooking program. They didn't when I started, but you have to go in and do your marine emergency duties, which is like
Okay.
firefighting at sea. Uh, uh, it does a lot of safety on the water, man overboard drills, and rescue at sea in case, you have to rescue somebody. And so there's a lot of training. I had to do that separately, but now I think they offer the course together. They have a cooking
Okay.
SIPS cook program at an SEC, which I didn't do, but now they do have it. So, which is if you want to go to sea, then it's going to be a little bit more beneficial. There's more money going to sea than working land jobs, so that's another benefit of going to sea. But yeah,
Okay. What is the day cooking at sea like?
it's so my shifts work from 6 to 6, and then I have 11 people on my ship, and it's like cooking for a family, like a Thanksgiving family dinner, right? You get up, you make breakfast for all your guys, your crew, and some people have allergies, and um, some people are picky, so you gotta make alternative menu items for them if they don't want to have just bacon and eggs. Some people want to eat healthy, so you gotta have you know salads, and
Yep.
you just have to be conscious of their dietary needs and
You're
stuff.
almost a private chef.
Basically, yeah. And then I make lunch. I'll do like soup salads. I'll do, and like again, you have to have an alternative for somebody who has allergies or doesn't like what's on the menu. So, but yeah, it's pretty good gig. And I mean, the hardest part about working at sea is weather conditions and sea state, right? Sometimes it's not like cooking on land because you're always on a flat ground. You know, you could get into some pretty bad weather sometimes, and you got to kind of roll with the ship, right?
Literally.
Roll with the punches, right? And make sure things are buckled down and you're not losing a pot of soup every time the ship goes 45 back and forth. So you gotta there's a little bit more to it, and then other than that, the hardest part of working at sea is sometimes actually just being away, right? You're away from home for now some ships, like in the Coast Guard, we have 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and 28 days on, 28 days off. But there are some ships other than the Coast Guard that, you know, if they go the Coast Guard route, they could be gone at sea for months at a time, 3 months at a time, or and then back home. So those are things you got to think of if you're going to sea. And, you know, do you actually, if you have a family or, you know, a
Are you
dog or
ready for
something
that?
to
Yeah.
look after, then you're going to be gone for a little while, so you're going to have to arrange for somebody to look after stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
uh, Other than that, like, I like the balance. I go to work for 2 weeks, I'm home for 2 weeks. It's a good work-life balance for me. It's short intervals and it's not going away for 3 months, you know. And
Yeah. Would you describe being a cook as a creative trade?
very much so, yeah. 'Cause you're always constantly testing yourself, and I'm always a lot of it I find is self-taught. I mean, yes, you can move around from restaurant to restaurant and learn new menu items, learn different types of cuisine, but if you don't do that, then you kind of got to teach yourself along the way. And um, that can be just as fun too, because sometimes you get stuck in a restaurant and you're just making the same menu items over and over and over again. And so then you got to come up with specials that you're going to run for a night. And so sometimes you got to do that kind of on your own and research recipes, or maybe you want to try something Italian, or you want to try something Thai or Vietnamese, or you know, bring it back over and do some French cooking, or so you gotta
Okay.
you yeah, it can be very it, it's all creativity,
What is
right?
your favorite thing to cook?
I've been asked that many times, and I
Your favorite thing today?
favorite thing today. I always like making pho, like
Okay.
soup. You know, just very comforting. It's just it's I don't know. But tomorrow you ask me the next question, I could say sushi, or I could say Italian food, or who knows, right? But
It's that creative piece, right?
yep, and it changes, right? It's just like anytime you're craving something, and I like it all. That's why I got into cooking, right? Because I love cooking, and there's not really one thing I love because I love food too much.
So, Brent, you have had the opportunity to cook onshore in restaurants, etc., and then take it offshore. Thank you for sharing that with us today. Thank you so much, Brent.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of this World of Choices virtual event. And of course, this wouldn't be happening without our sponsors. So we have our national supporting partners: Amazon, Avanade, Taco Bell Foundation, GM, KPMG, CNA, and our local supporting partners, the Education and Early Childhood Development, EECD of Nova Scotia, ACE Machining, Coltech, and Eastward Energy, which one of our speakers, Andrew, was here today. So thank you, everybody, for making this happen and providing the time and the money for World of Choices. And RBC Future Launch is our national community partner, without which we couldn't do any of this.